everybody. Let me share my screen with you. And Jonah. So we just started a letter. Obviously we were looking through a lot of materials that were the Chasidim. They were the Misnagdim against the Chasidim. But there's also lots of letters of the Chasidim defending themselves. And accusing the Misnagdim of being too militant or of sinning themselves by hating other Jews. So I think what's interesting is what the methodology is. In other words, among the Misnagdim, the methodology of accusing the Chasidim was they're doing X, Y, and Z. They've changed the nusach. They daven late. On the earlier letters, there was things like, they're doing handstands, they dance too much, they don't feel bad when they sin, some outlandish things that they accuse them of. So the question is, given the arguments against the Chasidim, one of the main arguments against the Chasidim was that they go against the Vilna Gaon. We saw that what was really interesting is 25 years later, when a lot of these criticisms fall away, but there's still a war against the Chasidim, and in fact, it's reinvigorated. What falls away is the handstands, bizarre accusations of sodomy, the dancing accusation. What stays is you've changed the nusach, you maybe daven late, and a general sense of you've changed things, you're different. That's the sort of accusation. But then when it's translated to the Amcha, to the people in broadsides, there's only one accusation, and that is they go against the Vilna Gaon. And that seems to be, that's what's so interesting, is that it's, you violated Das Torah, you've gone against the undisputed leader of the generation. He's upset at you, that's all we need. And so how do you defend yourself as a chassid? What do you say? Do you make an argument for why we use a different nusach, that it's more mystical? Do you sort of make an argument that prayer is more important than davening, or that it's about being, that the emotional relationship to God is really important? That stuff's not really going to work. So this is a very early letter of Rabbi Menachem Mendel Vitebsk. He's already living in Sfat. This is in the 1774, I think, 5. And he's writing to communities in America, and he understands that there's this argument. He's been in Israel, but there's an argument between the Misnagdim and the Chasidim, and he's coming to, obviously, to defend the Chasidim. So I think we'll want to focus on what's his defense. And we saw the beginning of the letter last time, which was basically, mostly introduction, mostly flowery language. Then he writes, Achata huilu fanu banu hine esa da'i l'merachok below paneichem v'kivin shavas noged shavta midhava. Still introduction. Hine ad hayom b'neicha v'neinu ha'ed. Between us, sort of God is a witness, that you have rebelled against us. You have been boged banu. You have attacked us. Boged is like even more than that. It's like spy. It's surreptitious. And we are your covenantal brethren. Alachnu kadoranit mipnechem. What can we say back to you? These are all quotes from Tanakh and other places. We are your covenantal brethren, and you have forgotten that. This is probably you've tried to capture us. We forgive you. Shrira uverira v'kayama. We totally forgive you. If anybody who's wronged us, whether man or woman, beguf of mammon, whether in body or in money, ein anu mavakshim rak shalom Yisrael. We want one thing, he says, the Chasidim. We want shalom. Kulam kalanu b'pe'achad. We all agree that we just want shalom. Hine kidei l'tara atzmeinu m'kol chashadim be'emet asher tafalnu sheker aleinu. We have to clear our name of the falsehoods which we've been accused of. We bring heaven and earth as witnesses today. God knows the Jewish people. If we have violated even one rabbinic fence or one hidur mitzvah, one element, one positive element of the mitzvah, ish et kivro lo yichla v'al yoshenu, we sort of take this vow that we give up, we will not be saved. We are destined to the grave if we have violated anything. What else do you want us to do? He says. And now our brethren, that which is done is nothing. It's in the past. We pray about the future. I trust that I have found favor in the eyes of God. I'm asking that you fulfill this, what's in this letter, second and third letter, and we spread this out to all of the Jewish people. Again, these are all quotes. We need to keep the world going on peace and truth. God should put blessing on our heads because God only has one vessel that holds blessing, and that is peace. Hashem owes the Hashem shalom. God should bless his people with peace. Amim olam goel amiti asher katzu ma'in chayin olam. It's going to bring peace. Will bring redemption. Me and my group who are faithful, those who are not here, we call out peace to you. Kod divarai, darshim bakshim shlamam. These are my words. I request peace. This is he's signing off. Neum Menachem Mendel ben Rav Moshe. Neum Avraham Alexander Katz. So this is Tafresh. And this was published later, but this is an early letter. So that's Rabbi Menachem Mendel Mivitebsk and Rabbi Avraham Mikalisk. This letter was from both of them, I guess. Rabbi Avraham of Kalisk is a slightly stranger figure. This was, when was this? Tafresh Lamed Ches. And it's like a general letter to all these communities from the two of them. Now, I think Rabbi Avram of Kalisk actually is the person who was accused of, the person who did all the handstands, who had been a student of the Gaon and became a Chasid. So, but Rabbi Nachman Mendel of Vitebsk is very well recognized. This is another letter, Rabbi Menachem Mendel to the rabbis in Vilna, Tafresh Lamed Ches, which is 1778. We'll take a look at this. And these are letters of defense. So what's your sense, right? How do you defend against the accusations? Right? It's interesting, his approach. He doesn't defend the details, right? What he does is he says, you have wrongly waged a war. You are creating a lack of shalom. You are creating machlokas. You're the korach, right? Now, it's everybody, traditionally in Jewish arguments like this, everybody accuses each other of being korach, right? Who's at fault? So the Misnagdim are accusing the Chasidim of being heretics. Chasidim are accusing the Misnagdim of violating, peace, which is extremely important in Judaism. Let's take a look at this letter. Shamot Shmi b'nei Yisrael gehem atzilei b'nei Yisrael. Lemi kol chemdas Yisrael. It's probably very similar because it's written around the same time, but it's written to Vilna, right? Specifically to Vilna. So we know that may be more specific because, of course, Vilna is where all of this originates because it's coming from the Vilna. These are words of introduction. Okay. This is very interesting. This is a reference to the Gaon of Vilna. How does he refer to the Gaon of Vilna, right? V'govam od, v'goveh al gaveim. He is very high, higher than everybody. Sar HaTorah, an angel of Torah. Kein hakerach hanora. What is kein hakerach hanora? I think what this means is he is like a giant iceberg. I think, unless my Hebrew's wrong. Jonah will know. So on the one hand, that sounds like praise, which I think it is. The note here says that he's indeed referring to the Gaon of Vilna. But what's interesting is Kerach Hanora could be a giant iceberg, right? But Kerach, ice, is also what? Korach, right? I mean, it seems to me like that's the reference. Because, who there, that's always the question, these machloks, and who's Korach? Oave Torah, Oave Yedidi Nafshi, lovers of Torah, I love you. Sare Chore Sagane, those who are his skanim, those who are his help, his second in command, Chachme Save B'dine, the wise ones of Vilna, the Bezdin, Kila Kadisha Vilna. Hashem Yishmarei Michazkein B'Mu'uzam. God should guard you. Yasa Shalom, God should give you peace until the Mashiach comes. Achrei Hashem Shalom Hod Yakar Tiferet Gvulatam. Hashem Matzinu Avataneim V'Tzidkatam Omedet La'ad. Okay, these are also words of introduction. Vada elu chazitem mekame habishaper tfei. U'ma'aseh ki gava Torah beinenu. Hashem Elokim hu yasir et hamelitz asher beinotenu. God should take away melitz is one who usually tells good things. But here maybe it means not a melitz yosher, but a melitz of bad things. In other words, God should take away the lashon hara between us. These are the bali lashon hara, those who speak badly, right? Now, there's another method. One method is to say we need peace. Another method is to say, you've gotten this wrong because you've gotten the wrong message. To blame, not obviously the Vilna Gaon, the rabbis of Vilna, but to blame, sort of the everyman who has reported what's happening. You've got your information wrong. Maskim hamavdilim, nirganim, hamaspidim, ben hadvekim, Mishulchim Madun Ben Ha'achim Hema Hayu Ba'archei Israel. These are low people who are reporting things. Elohim Haguramim Benizikin. And those are the ones who are causing the damage. It's not you, the rabbis. It is where you're getting your information. And through those people, on the word of those people, we have created a battle. You have created a battle. And you're spilling blood based on the reports of people who don't know what they're saying, people who are speaking Lashon Hara. This is pretty early on, but already it's putting it on, the Gon is getting the wrong information from people who are, low. God knows that these are falsehoods. I'm here on holy ground in Israel, and God is my witness. I swear in the name of God, if there's anything, any speck of wrongness among the Chasidim, or God forbid, denial of the Torah, whether written Torah, even any rabbinic fence, we are keeping the Torah as it's supposed to be kept, according to the way that the rabbis have interpreted it. We are interested in serving God. That's who we really are, it's saying. You have gotten, you've people have been speaking Lashon Hara and you're acting on it. Right? Interesting. So he's saying, I'm willing to, the bad things the Chasidim have done, I'm willing to pin that on people that were not really leaders of the Misnagdim and people that really don't know better. These are ignorant people, the people who are taking out, the leader of the Hasidic minion in Vilna to beat him publicly. We're going to say that is, some ruffian who doesn't really know what they're doing. It's not coming from the rabbis, right? So it makes a lot of sense, right? The Chasidim are saying, we're not going to blame you. We're going to give you lots of excuses. The public beatings, that's coming from people who don't know better. There's just lots of Lashon Hara you're hearing. You're not getting the real story. And you've been acting on it. So we offer peace and we offer, and the expectation is the Chasidim will also act with forgiveness. So this is a smart approach. It's a very good try. The hope is that I'm sure from the point of view of Rabbi Menachem Mendel of Vitebsk, the whole thing is crazy, right? Because here's these, Rabbi Menachem Mendel of Vitebsk, very holy man. A lot of Chasidim, very holy people, trying very hard. They're certainly keeping the Torah. Okay, it's true that Dani Nusach is smart. He's not going to deny that. But one of the criticisms of Misnagdim early on is spend all day davening. That's the criticism. Obviously, what that means is you're not learning enough Torah. But it's so fighting back with not halachic arguments, but this is crazy. You've blown something out of proportion, and let's keep the peace. That makes a lot of sense. We'll see that. Something fuels the Gon. Something fuels the Vilna Gaon for years and years, until his death. And we saw, that the fight gets invigorated 25 years later in the 1790s, and it doesn't die down. It goes on and on for years. So, it's a sad thing. That's fine. I guess the sense you get is that I think the sense you get, I mean, when you step back and you think about, all the real letters which we've read, like, it does seem like the Chasidim, I mean, on the one hand, it's true, the Chasidim are doing something different. They have made changes. But the idea that that makes them anathema, that makes them such heretics, it's like there's fear. I mean, I guess what it is that, in the aftermath of Shabtai Tzvi, it's just a lot of fear. Just like we have. I mean, we spend as Orthodox Jews tons of energy reacting to the world in response to the Reform, response to the Enlightenment, response to the Holocaust, right? In other words, a lot of the things that we make enormous issues would not be such big issues if we weren't busy responding to liberal movements. Whether that's women's learning or that's, I don't know, whatever it is. Okay. Have a good week, everybody. I'm going to be away for a week. I'll send an email, but we won't teach tomorrow. And the next time I'll teach basically a week from Wednesday.
We'll be meeting tomorrow, Rabbi?
No, I think my flight's it's too early. Flight's like 11. So, but I'll send an email.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Okay,
Bye,
thank
guys.
you. All right.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Enjoy. Bye. Bye.